Okay, I have a confession to make. Last episode, I told you that this time we would open up the calendar and go through every single number on it, the price, the block time, the fees, all of it. I lied. Well, I wouldn't say lied, postponed. Because I was putting this episode together and I realized something. If I hand you the instruction manual before you actually understand why this strange little clock is worth caring about, it's just a screen full of numbers, boring, forgettable, and it'll get lost somewhere in your Google search history, or I don't know. It just becomes, yeah, secondary to none. So we're saving the full tour for the grand finale, and trust me, it'll hit so much harder once everything clicks. Instead, today we're going to do something stranger and honestly more important. This is the episode where Bitcoin is a clock stops being a neat little fact and starts to actually mean something. So let me ask you the real question. Why would anyone choose to measure their life in blocks instead of days? And here's why. Let's get to it. Welcome back, guys. This is Kev from 21 Satoshi. Hope you're having a great day today. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's go all the way back to the very first block, the one at the bottom of the entire tower. It's called the Genesis block, and Satoshi mined it on January 3rd of 2009. And tucked inside it permanently, where it can never be edited, Satoshi left a message, a single line of text. That's a real headline from the front page of a London newspaper, the Times, on that exact day. Now, why does that matter? Think back to episode 1. The question we opened the whole series with: how do you prove when something happened without trusting anyone? Here's the answer, built right into the first block. Because that headline existed on January 3rd of 2009. The Genesis block could not have been created before that day. You can't reference a newspaper that hasn't been printed yet. It's a timestamp made of the real world, unforgettable, uneditable, and sitting at the base of everything. Every block stacked on top inherits that proof. This is the deep idea the whole series has been circling. Remember the guessing game from episode 2? All that electricity, all those trillions of attempts per second? We usually call it proof of work. Proof that real energy was spent. But it flipped around and it's something more poetic. Proof of work is proof of time. You cannot fake the work. And because you can't fake the work, you can't fake when. The Tower of Blocks isn't just a record of transactions, it's more honest. It's like a more honest history book ever made, where the ink dries permanently every 10 minutes. And Satoshi's choice of headline wasn't random either. It's widely read as a quiet comment on why Bitcoin exists at all. Printed on the very day governments were bailing out the banks. The first block is a timestamp and a thesis statement fused into one. Now here's the second thing this clock does to you, and it's subtle. Our relationship with time is fast. Notifications, daily deadlines, the next weekend, the next paycheck. We're wired to think in hours and days. Economists have a name for how much you favor right now over later. They call it your time preference. Wanting everything immediately is high time preference. Being able to think and plan in years, decades is low time preference. The Timechain calendar is a low time preference machine. Look how it's built. Its smallest meaningful rhythm is 10 minutes. Its big celebration, the halving, comes once every 4 years, like the World Cup or the Olympics. And its full story runs out to the year 2140. You literally cannot use this calendar to think about right now in a way a phone notification wants you to. It zooms your mind out. It invites you to think in epochs. And here's something gently grounding about that. We spend so much of our lives reacting to the urgent. A clock whose next major event is years away gently reminds you the next important stuff usually plays out slowly. Whatever you're anxious about today is on this calendar, less than 1/1000th of a single epoch. You don't have to own a single Satoshi to take that lesson. The calendar is, in a weird way, a free mindfulness tool dressed up as a Bitcoin gadget. So let's bring it all the way home. Back to that opening question. Why measure life in blocks? And it's funny that I'm talking about this because I actually had this conversation a couple months back in Vegas at the conference. And even as I'm going through this video right now, it just kind of hits home to that conversation. And by the way, shout out to Jerry. Alright. Here's the beautiful part. Every meaningful moment in your life since January 2009 happened during a specific block. The day you graduated, a wedding, a birth of a kid, a move, a first job, a goodbye. Each one is forever sitting next to a block in that tower, a permanent, unchangeable coordinate in a record that the whole world shares and no one can rewrite. And you can actually find it. See, the calendar has a tool, a past block lookup, where you punch in a date that mattered to you the most and it hands you the block your memory lives beside. We'll go deep on that tool next episode, but here's the taste. Your birthday isn't just March whatever anymore. It's a block, a specific, findable, permanent block. And this clock will keep ticking as long after all of us. It has no owner to shut it down, no battery to die, no company to go out of business. 10 minutes from now, there will be a new block. 10 minutes after that, another. Quietly keeping time block after block for as long as anyone around to watch, and then some. So that's the why. That's the soul of this strange little clock. It's not just tracking Bitcoin. It's the most honest record of time humans have ever built, and it quietly invites you to slow down and think in epochs. And now, finally, you're ready for the manual. Next time is the big one, the finale. We're opening up the Timechain calendar and go through every single readout on its face. The price, the block height, the average block time, the fees, the difficulty countdown, all of it, you name it. Now that you actually know what it all means, the payoff of this entire series, you're going to walk away able to read this like a dashboard. Like a local reads, a train station clock, or, back then if you were reading the newspaper. Whatever it is, you name it. Till then, this is Kev from 21 Sat Street, and I'll see you there.